Hello. I hope that you are doing really well and that you're having a good week and that you're taking care of yourself. I am Meredith. This is my channel, Meredith's Lucky Stars, and I am an astrologer and an intuitive. And I have a couple of announcements. So I started a Substack subscription service. And that's where I'm going to be putting the majority of my content, though I am going to occasionally pop by like I'm doing right now and record and upload a video for the transits and the astrology. The first thing that I want to share is that wherever you have Capricorn and Aquarius in your natal chart has been basically running a marathon since you were born, but especially in the last few years. And I talk about this on my Substack at length. And this week is one of those weeks where we're going to see how some of these ever evolving story arcs, what they're kind of morphing into. And this starts out with Mars moving into the sign of Capricorn from Sagittarius, which really just leaves Chiron and Aries as like the only fire sign. So those of us who are quite fiery, this is a good time to kind of rev that up to really be as bold and as fiery as possible, just my opinion. Because I think that the element of fire, when it's not present in the collective and the transits, it can be felt. People can move into spaces of stagnation or depression. If you think about like what the element of fire does, it brings movement. So Mars, though, moving into Capricorn, will connect with Pluto and with Venus. Mars is going to start to travel with Venus. And that's really interesting, exciting. Definitely kind of looks kind of brutal for the US in some ways, especially in ways I think that we'll get a sneak preview of this week, because Mercury retrograde moves into Capricorn as well on Tuesday. And we'll come into this conjunction with Pluto throughout the week, and we'll kind of chill there until February 3rd when it stations direct. And even then, like, we'll take a second to get away from Pluto. So for the last week of January and the first week of February of 2022, it's kind of interesting. I think it's really good to see what contracts are coming up for us to either make or break. We're closing out chapters left and right so that new ones can open. I mean, I've been observing this in my life and in other people's lives as well. So I think that should be a really interesting type of thing to observe. This can also bring like explosive communication and, these realizations and epiphanies and aha moments, starting today, which is Sunday, until until really the first week of February and beyond that. The first 4 months, 6 months of this year are insane. And I kind of have grown to enjoy and to thrive in some of that insanity, intensity, because in a way, like, it reminds us that we're still alive, we're not stagnating, we're growing. So Mars and Capricorn, though, kind of going back to what I was saying earlier, really gives us this like fodder and the motivation and the incentive to really get things done, to take our power back, to come back to our own authority. And as you know, I've been really getting into like human design. And I think that human design is an excellent tool to use to find your own strategy and your own authority to move through this time. I think that's literally what it's for. So, use the resources and the tools to align yourself that are available to you. Capricorn is all about like actually making use of what we have So there will be that type of influence as well. So Venus is going to station direct on January 29th, which is very exciting. I think a lot of people have been waiting for that. Take some time to get out of the woods a little bit. You know, Venus stationed retrograde right on top of Pluto, which is, you know, was kind of challenging. And I think for a lot of people, you know, showed us where maybe we're feeling a little bit compulsive or a little bit fixated or, you know, just disempowered. And now that we've had a little bit of space from that, and this week Mercury is coming back into that same orbit of Pluto in Capricorn and Venus is stationing direct, I think there's this really interesting, I mean, this week is a week of revelations. It's a week to keep a notebook by you so that you can jot down any of these realizations, and in our relationships and in our lives, in other situations, if you're having a feeling about something, it's good to take a snapshot of what that feeling is, because I think that the feelings that we're having about certain things and what we want to commit ourselves to in the longer term, you know, the kind of stuff that we could see ourselves doing long term, is those types of things are really cropping up, and we'll want to kind of like save those for later and remember them. So let's see what else. And then Monday, February 1st, I believe is a Monday, could be, let me check, is a new moon in Aquarius with Saturn. So there's just this like really, we're really in between one door and another. Like we're not quite in the door, but we're like really getting closer to this next door. I'm not exactly, I think that that's dependent on whoever is listening to this and their own personal natal chart, how that plays out. But yeah, I think that's all that I want to say. Oh, stay tuned for a couple of new episodes with amazing guests of the Gold Pill podcast. We're very excited about that. And yeah, take care. Bye.